Hello, I know I went a little quickly during class today, so I did want to record a video so you can watch an example at your own pace. But these are two of the examples that I'm going to do during this video, and hopefully that is going to help you with the homework if you weren't able to get too far in the Desmos activity. So this first problem, we have x squared minus 8x plus 12. And again, I have these hints here for you just to remind us that whenever we see a trinomial with this x squared up here, that means we are going to have our answer in this format. So two sets of parentheses and x in the first term in both of them. So I want you to just do that all the time as your first step. That's a really good first step to have. And then we are going to use the pattern that we learned about in class today. We're going to have some number plus another number is equal to -8. So we're going to have that b term be the addition, and then we're going to have the c term be the product of the same two numbers. So the same two numbers multiplied by each other are going to give us the c product. So whenever we have that, I like to just make a, so let me highlight that first, just so you know where I got those two numbers from. I got this -8 from here, and I got this 12 from here. So whenever we have this situation set up, I don't always do this because I can kind of tell in my head, but if you need that extra help, you could just make a list of all the factors of 12. So you could do like 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and that's all of the numbers that multiply to 12. And we can choose from this list of pairs to see what fits this statement and this statement. So we need two numbers that add to -8. So if we do 12 and 1, that is not going to give us -8. So we can just cross that one off. If we do 3 and 4, that is also not going to give us 8. So the only one left is 2 and 6. So when we do 2 times 6, we get 12. And when we do 2 plus 6, we need -8. So I'm actually going to make these two numbers negative. So -2 plus -6 gives us -8. And if we want to check our work, -2 times -6 also gives us +12. Right? Negative times negative is equal to positive, and 2 times 6 is equal to 12. So once we have our two numbers, we're just going to plug them in to the two sets of parentheses that we had in our first step. So I have x minus 2 times x minus 6, and this becomes my final answer. So x minus 2 times x minus 6 is the final answer for number 1. So I'm just going to do another example so you can see another example. But it's a very, very similar process. I'm going to just start off. So most of the time on the homework, you're going to see that this is actually not on there. So this is not going to be on your homework. The question is just going to look like this and ask you to factor the expression. So what I'm going to do is, as my first step, I'm just going to write this out. So as my first step, I always start off by, whenever I see this x squared in the front, I always start off by just writing the set of parentheses with the x in the front. And it doesn't take extra work to do that. This should always be your first step whenever you see a trinomial with x squared in the front. And that's going to make it way easier to write your final answer later. So once we have those parentheses set up, I am going to do the two equations again. So we have two numbers that make a sum or add up to -12, and the same two numbers are going to multiply together to make 27. So again, I got this negative 12 from right here, and I got the 27 from right here. So like I said earlier, I like to just make a list of all the factors of 27. So I have 1 and 27, 3 and 9. I think those are the only numbers that multiply up to 27. But we know 1 and 27 are not going to add up to negative 12, so we can cross that one out. We're left with 3 and 9. But again, this is negative 12, so we have to make sure it adds up to negative 12. I'm going to change these to negative numbers. So negative 3 plus negative 9 does indeed add up to negative 12. And then we have 3, so we have to check that those same numbers to see if it still fits the multiplication. So we have negative 3 times negative 9. Negative times negative is positive, and 3 times 9 is 27. So yes, those two numbers do work. So I'm just going to put in negative 3 and negative 9. And x minus 3 times x minus 9 is going to be my final answer.